Hello everyone, my name is Anil. I feel very lucky to have met Aaron and Julia because they are customers of mine and now friends too as well. And as you can see, they got not only a solar electric system, but a solar water heater as well. So I'm very grateful that they recognized the long-term investment, and they were also able to get like a rebate for the solar water heater, but time ran out on the solar electric system, so we missed that rebate. But I guess I could describe a little bit about how it works.
Yes, please.
So ideally for the number one enemy when it comes to any type of solar is shade, and you know, luckily they don't have any shade. I mean, there's nothing to speak of here. And the other thing that would be ideal is if they had a roof that faced exactly true south and was tilted at the latitude of our location, which is like 40 degrees. But they probably only lose like 10% from that ideal, being a flat roof and not entirely south facing. But shade is the number one enemy, so we have no shade. So you can see the solar electric system, 18 modules, pretty high efficient. It had to be because we had to meet this 3-foot clearance rule for the City of Philadelphia license and inspections. I had originally sized it with a cheaper and less efficient module, but it would have been bigger and it wouldn't have met this 3-foot clearance rule. So this is why we use a highly efficient LG module, a little bit more expensive. 2 series strings, so 18 modules, 9 modules in each string, and the electricity is DC electricity, so not what your house runs on. Your house runs on AC electricity.
And what does 2 series mean?
Oh, so you know, if you could remember back to like high school physics, you could connect batteries. Like if you think about each one of these as like a car battery, you could connect them in series or parallel. So series is just when you have the positive from one battery going into the negative of the other battery, and the positive of that battery going into the negative of the other battery. And that would be series, that would be like one next to each other. Parallel would be when the positive of one battery connects to the positive of another battery, and the negative of that battery connects to the negative of another battery. And what difference that makes is, so each of these produces current amps, and it produces volts, potential difference volts. And so if you can manipulate how those are added by how you connect them in series or parallel. So if you connect them in series, they all have the same current, but the voltage adds. If you connect them in parallel, they all have the same voltage, but the current adds. So in this case, we have 2 series strings, and the series strings, the power goes down through this piece of EMT. Kind of scary to look down the side, but
we're gonna do it.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So I actually, as you can see, embarrassingly enough, I still need to finish up the insulation on the side there, but I have done the insulation everywhere else. White insulation. So that's for the solar water heater.
Oh, yep.
So you can see 3 collectors, more than enough for them. I think 2 people would have been fine with 1 collector, but their hot water, this is the hot water there, their hot water is for the entire home. So 3 collectors, probably about right, like 1 for each apartment, and if they have 2 people in each apartment, so that'll work out. And there's a storage tank in the basement. So basically this is fluid coming to, this is a pipe, so there's a solution in there. It's a antifreeze, a non-toxic antifreeze solution. So this is basically under this like glass exterior, or not glass, but some type of plastic. It's just basically a big hunk of copper, like a copper radiator. The copper radiator is filled with this antifreeze solution. The sun heats it up, it gets hot, and at the same time that the sun heats it up, if the sun is out to heat this up, then the sun is also out to power the small solar electric panel, which is not connected to this. But the purpose of this solar electric module, the small one, 30 watts, is just to power a pump, a solar water heater pump. So if the sun is out and it heats up the solar thermal collectors, then it's also powering the pump, which pulls down the warm fluid out of here down to a heat exchanger in the basement. And so that's how the hot fluid in the collectors gets down to the heat exchanger, gives its heat up to the water in the tank, so the water in the storage tank gets hot, and then the fluid, which is now cooler, comes back up to get heated again by the sun. So I think we'll continue recording once we get to the basement, and I have a thermometer there, so you can see. Today was a nice day, so you'll see when we get down, you know, what the temperature of the tank is, and we'll see proof positive that it worked. So.
right, great. I have at least one more question. And one was, I know that we had just gotten a new roof put in before the solar panels.
Yeah. So their roof before, I saw this roof before they had it done, and it wasn't in bad shape. It was in decent shape as far as roofs go. But no, they got a new roof right before I installed this. Yeah, I mean, so you want to have someone who knows what they're doing when they're mounting anything on the roof. It's hard to see because the solar modules are covering them. But I used a foot, like a L foot, that is specifically meant for for this purpose. There's like a mask, there's like a black butyl thing under there, sealant under there, so that it can't leak. But
there's sealant.
Yeah, so if you see like an L foot that this rail is like connected to, you might not see the sealant, but beneath the L foot there is a black sealant that
neat.
that prevents leaks. And so anyway, that L foot is there are two styles. You can have one that has one fastener which bolts into the rafter, because beneath this roof decking, beneath the sheathing, there are rafters, roof joists, and traditionally you could lag bolt into that. But this newer L foot, instead of having space for one lag bolt to go into the rafter, it has five penetrations, which instead of having to get on top of the lag bolt, you can go right into the decking. So that's a little bit easier, because I don't have to figure out where the rafters are. I could just go into the decking. Now these feet here that are lag bolted, these did have to go into rafters. So, but as you wouldn't get lucky enough to have like a rafter be there and a rafter be there and a rafter. So what I did was I mean the standard technique here is to install a block, like a 4x4 wooden block in between rafters. So there is those are lag bolted into some meat, either into a rafter or into a wooden block. So it's everything is all good. It's not going to blow away. Or you would think that, because it looks like a big sail on the roof, but it's in there pretty sturdily. So.
All right. And how much? What's the electrical size of this system?
Yeah, so this one is 285 watts. So each module here is 285 watts. And Aaron and Julia have 18 of them. So that's on my calculator. That's like 5.13, I think. So 285 multiplied by 18. Yeah, exactly. So 5,130 watts. So if this were on a roof that was like completely south and no shade and tilted at our latitude, this system might produce about 7,000 kilowatt hours a year. As it is right now, it might produce like about 6,500 kilowatt hours a year. So it's flat roof, and so we'll see after 1 year. We had it turned on right before winter started, and we had a pretty crappy winter, so wasn't a great productivity there. But we've been going good so far. So.
All right. Great.
The roofer had put that in for you, that roof vent. That wasn't there before. But
oh, when you designed it?
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. So this is the view from the side of the building. You can see coming down from the roof, there is the electricity in the leftmost EMT conduit, and then there is the heat transfer solution to the solar water heater in these two. I think this is to the collector. This is from the solar collector, and it's wrapped with insulation, so it doesn't lose heat to the environment, because you don't want heat to be lost. You want all the heat to go to the tank. And as you can also see, it's kind of halfway done. I'm not fully done yet. There's a loose wire and there is insulation missing up there. So I am going to finish that. If Pico shows up, they can just quickly shut off the system. That's what this switch is. Once you get a solar electric system, you have to get your meter changed. So in different territories, there's another utility in Pennsylvania outside Pico territory called MedEd, I think, and there's some other utilities. Other utilities, you don't have to get your meter changed, because their meters are equipped to measure electricity in both directions. But in Pico territory, you do have to get your meter changed. So this was their meter, and we had to put in a new meter socket, meter box, and they took out their old meter and they replaced it, which you can see it says in, and the other one that we put in says out. So this measures electricity that Aaron and Julia purchased from Pico, and this measures electricity that they produce and goes out to Pico. After their home uses whatever it needs, the extra goes out to Pico, and Pico acts as storage for it. And then when they need it, Pico just gives it back to them. So this was already here. They got a new one. This we put here, and they put one in there. This switch is just for the utility to shut it off if ever they need it to shut it off. So there's a thermometer I put on the top of the tank. You can see
123.
The temperature in the room is 75.4 Fahrenheit. So this tank is 80 gallons, 80, which is about right for like maybe 3 apartments, 6 people, like 5 people living. And so yeah, so right now, today, I guess you can't see it, you wouldn't know, but today we had a nice day. Was no rain or no clouds today, so the tank is 123 Fahrenheit. This is 80 gallons of water. That's 123, which is plenty hot. I mean, hot water for most people is 112, 110. So this is more than fine. And this will just sit here until they use it. So it goes into their existing water heater. So now their existing water heater doesn't have to work. It doesn't have to come on because it's already getting hot water. So that would usually, like, the burner would usually come on to heat the water up, but now it's already getting fed with hot water, so the burner doesn't have to come on. And you can probably not sure what you're looking at there, but just basically pumps and gauges and stuff to make this work. I mean, this shows the pressure of the fluid solar loop, and that black thing there is the pump that I was talking about that's run by the 30-watt solar module. There is a switch that turns off the pump for the solar water heater, and up there we can see the other, but those two are the pipes for the solar water heater coming in, and then this one at the EMT, as you can see, is the solar electric one now going all the way down to that big white box over there. Yeah, so this is the inverter. Your home runs on AC, like I said before. The modules produce DC. The power comes in there. This big box converts it to AC, and this meter just measures how much energy has been produced by the system since the beginning of time. There is a
I didn't quite read it.
Oh, I have the light again.
Right,
I mean, so
yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
So that's how much energy is being power. That's how much power is being produced at this second. So almost 2,000 watts or 2,020 watts. I mean, it changes as as the light changes. And this is since the beginning, since their system was turned on. How much energy is the system has produced? Which I think this was turned on in like late November 2013, maybe. I forget. Which was like about winter time, which. We had a pretty sucky winter, so there's a switch here, DC disconnect, which just turns off the DC power to the inverter. It's kind of funny. You can't really see it. It's under the thing, so you grip and you turn it. So, and then power goes outside to that exterior switch that I showed you that the utility can turn off. Then it comes back in and goes into their service panel, which feeds their house. So they get power for their home from the sun.